Oh my goodness, this lighting is actually not horrible. Anyway. Hey guys, what's up? It's Hannah, and today I'm pulling up with an advice video. As somebody who has been going through this process for the past like 5 months of my life, I figured that since I finally have acquired this thing in my life, I would talk about it, do a video on it, give you guys some advice, just kind of chat with y'all about how I acquired 2 internships with no experience. I had never before this had any like true professional experience. I would say I did 1 internship in high school, but that is the only professional experience that I had on my resume. Even only with like 1 semi-professional thing on my resume and a couple school extracurricular kind of things, I still landed 2 internships. They are both remote. Just not super comfortable traveling to New York this summer. Like literally any other summer I'd be down, but like maybe not this summer. So I decided to write down, yes, actually write down, I think like 8 tips. These are just things that I realized through my process. I started the internship search back in January. So as you can see, it took me a little while. So without further ado, I'm just gonna talk about the tips that I have that I used to find an internship, and maybe these will help you. Number 1, the biggest tip that I have is to start early. The second you hit second semester of college, because that's when most people are doing like internships. Most people do internships over the summer. Even though I did start in January, start is like a very light term. That was my cat. I applied to like a few in January, and in my head I was like, that's fine. No. Hit the ground running in January. Like literally go start talking to your advisors, go searching online for internships, because I promise the earlier you start looking, just the more options you will have. This second tip is very important, and I feel like this is something that should be applied when always applying for internships, and that is apply to anything even slightly related to what you want to do. Now, what I mean by this is, let's say like you're a marketing major. Apply to any internship that has the words marketing, advertising, public relations, business, like branding, literally anything that could even slightly relate to your like current field of work that you want to go into later. Apply to it. Getting experience in literally any aspect of the industry you want to go work in is better than having no experience at all. Like an employer would rather you see that you have that experience in that sector of the industry instead of you having an empty resume. Number 3, do extracurriculars that will supplement your little to no experience. Now, this is where my 0 experience title comes in. When I was applying for these internships, I did not have very much professional experience. In fact, I would honestly say that I basically had none, because I just don't know how much my high school internship when I was 17 really counted for on my resume. Literally anything that you could even possibly think that could count as experience, and not just experience in your field of study, but experience in leadership, experience in organization, experience in teamwork, like anything you can put on there that even possibly relates to those things, put it on your resume. Because I had very little professional experience, what did I do? I went and wrote for publications on my campus. I wrote for, and I still write for, both my school's newspaper and our fashion magazine. I also worked on our school's fashion show my freshman year, and I'm in a sorority. So those are all things that I can put on my resume that kind of supplements the fact that I don't have a lot of professional experience. I didn't write this down, but this is really important. If you are in any kind of a creative field, so writing, art, design, architecture, fashion, literally anything where you need to have like work to show people that you can do, please, 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 for the love of everything that is holy, make a portfolio. It is so important that you have work that you can show people that you actually know what you're doing. So for example, I'm an apparel merchandising and journalism double major, but I want to go into editorial fashion writing. So I started to work on publications so I could make writing clips that I could put into a portfolio. So that when I went to apply for internships, I didn't have nothing to show. I wasn't just asking the employers to believe me when I said like, I promise you I can write. I had evidence that said, hey, I can write. Number 4, and this one is a big one, and I 100% made this mistake, is keep applying even when you get interviews. I would start to get interviews and then I would stop applying for internships because I'd be like, okay, I have like a couple interviews lined up and I would just assume that out of those interviews, I was going to get one of those jobs. So I would just stop applying to internships. It's gonna take some effort. You're probably not going to get the first internship that you send an email for. An interview does not guarantee you a job. Like, I think that when I first started getting interviews, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have an internship in no time because I got interviews. An interview does not guarantee you a job at all. It just means that they thought you were good enough along with a lot of other people to interview for the job. Like, you have to realize when you're interviewing for a job, there are probably a good amount of other people that you're still going against who may be more qualified, who may have more experience than you. Number 5 is kind of similar, but don't bank on any one job or company. This again is just one of those things where I would not, when you are trying to apply for that first internship, I would not have any one specific company or brand in mind. You might not get that internship. So like I said, you need to spread out your chances and your opportunities as far as you can. So yeah, apply for that like dream internship, but don't stop applying if you apply for that one. Next up, this one. Big one. This one I would recommend to take 100%. Number 6, use your advisors, but don't rely on your advisors. Now, I'm not trying to say anything bad about college advisors. I've actually found that my college advisors have been very helpful. However, when it came to finding an internship, I basically did all of it on my own. I did have my advisor have me reach out to a couple people. Some of those people didn't get back to me. Some of those people were already like full of interns for the summer. So it kind of just got to a point where I was like, you know what? I can't really keep relying on people all the time to just offer me jobs. For somebody like me who I frankly, like, time was kind of not on my side and I needed an internship, I started to realize that I was like, you know what, I can use my advisors, but I also need to lean more on myself as well. Number 7, don't discriminate on company size. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when it comes to like trying to find an internship, and I completely understand this because people want those big company internships. If you're a fashion major, you want to intern for Michael Kors or Chanel or like Ralph Lauren or Nike. Like, you want those big branded internships, but the truth is, you're not gonna get that without other professional internship experience. You're gonna have to have some smaller companies under your belt. Everybody has to start somewhere. Both of the companies that I'm interning for this summer are quite small, and that's okay because it gives me a starting point. So I just wouldn't expect that your first internship is going to be like this huge, like well-known company and automatically you'll have this internship to put on your resume that will just like shoot you to stardom, because that's just usually not how it works. And then number 8, I think if you're in college, most people know this, but realize you probably won't get paid, but the experience is good. This is just something that we college students have to suck up and accept. We have to deal with unpaid internships, and I agree, it sucks. I won't even lie. I think the concept of unpaid internships is kind of not great. A lot of the companies that need interns are smaller companies who might not be able to pay interns or something like that. That's completely understandable. Obviously, there are still very large companies that don't pay their interns, and again, I think that kind of sucks. But you know, like I said, as a college student, honestly, as anybody who is interning anywhere, you are probably just gonna have to deal with the fact that you're probably not gonna get paid, and that's okay as long as you can support yourself. Obviously, there are definitely situations where people need experience on their resume, but they also need a job, and then they have to have a job and an internship at the same time, and I honestly think that that's can be a really shitty situation sometimes. If you are lucky enough to maybe have family that can support you, or you do have a job that can help you, I think it's just important to realize that padding your resume when you're in college is like the best thing you can do. So even if you're not getting paid, just, you know, keep it in the back of your head. This can go on your resume. People can look at the work that you've done, and then eventually you can get paid. So those are all of my tips. Wow, this is not the most comfortable position to film in, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like this video, also subscribe, and hit the little notification bell right next to it if it was helpful to you, so you can see all of my videos that come out in the future, because I think they're pretty decent. I don't know. I hope you guys like this video. I'm filming in a new background. I'm gonna make it look cuter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!